the motherland of Irlande. Just talking a bit of shite to myself on the old phone, man. You know what I mean? Oh, good old crack to be back in the motherland. You know what I mean? I'm off the computer now, so it's a little bit basic. It's a basic touch now, back in the motherland, back in Mayo Bay. Oh, ho, ho. If you're watching this now, you're down Kerryway tomorrow night, right? You're down Killarney, County Kerry. Come down the old show, man. Myself and the three bucks boys. Or down the old I&E down Killarney. Good old fucking crack. Good old crack, boy. We got three viewers. Oh, the room is filling up with viewers. Jeez, tonight. I cannot see. Is there any old comments there now coming in? Cannot see any comments. How's Dowell? Hold on. Man, Chris, and it says number one, fucking number one fan. How do you do, good friend? Hello from Kansas, man, Kansas. The old Kansas City Schlickers, boy, huh? Kansas City Schlickers. Roisin McCello and Piano, how we getting on? And Kevin E. Murphy, great to see you, great to see you. Frank as well, the whole fucking room's filling up now. Oh, lovely, 4 unit. What was I going to say? It's been a mad couple of days since I've been back. I rented out a nice Volvo XC60 T6. The Swedes, man, they're a serious bunch of people. But I tell you one thing, they know how to build, especially Dole Volvo crowd. They're great builders altogether. Yourself and Amanda Roisin, I was thinking, do a YouTube live off the phone, or do I just go and watch some shite on YouTube? Listen to a bit of Gerald Salente and the boys. But I thought, fuck it, it's midnight. I may as well do a show for the old Maloneys Digest, and I can't stop talking like this now. I've been geez, I've had some crack with the old boy lately. Bloody hell, man! And he loves the crack, and the pints, and the laughter. So I was in cleaning his house there the other day with my mother and sister, and she's some man. He'd do the bare minimum around the place. Like, he'd keep it well, but he wouldn't be a great man. My other sister got him a vacuum cleaner for Christmas, and that vacuum cleaner was still in the box nearly 11 months later. And I tell you one thing, boy, I took that vacuum cleaner and I fucking cleaned up. And it was a great sense. You see, I've been domesticated from living in Sweden, and I like to live in a tidy environment. And there was scrubbing galore. Like, you don't realize how much tidying needs to be done until you start tidying. And I love the way halfway through the tidying, the place is up in a heap, and he just jumps into the bed, goes for an old kip for himself. And I looked at him there and I thought, that's where my fucking streak of loving the bed comes from. Funny, because I'm a great man for not going to bed of a night, but often man staying in the bed in the morning. And there's no better place in the bed than the morning. So I was on a couple of, what do we got here? Kevin Ian Murphy says, the facial hair is looking official. Oh, hey. Oh, one of those old Philips shavers, the green ones, that old fucking, what are they called? Philly shave job. I did a proper job. Confederate cavalry officer on the frontiers, man, fighting the old Indians. Irish Newfoundland bear, how are you getting on? Good man, Martin. Doing the shaken vac. Brings the freshness back. You know the crack yourself, man. Oh, having a nice hot one. When I was over in Copenhagen on the way, I picked up a bottle of Tullamore Dew honey, and I thought a bit of lemon, a bit of hot ishka, fucking do the job well. Good thing about when you rent a car, you're out at the pub. Whereas if I didn't have the car now, I'd be like, I shall tip off down the old town, go for a couple of fucking pints, talk a bit of shit, the boys down there, then, you know what I mean? I was on a podcast there with David Cuddy in Leash the other day. That was good crack. I drove about 2.5 hours, got there at 8:30, and we did 3.5 hours of chatting on the podcast. So that'll be good crack. Tune in there, hey. some spicy touches. That was good crack. And we he said, listen to the podcast I did with James Conway, and he put on a podcast with a lad from Sligo called James Conway, and fuck me, that was some podcast. I enjoyed listening to that. And funny enough, my mate fucking Vinny from Ballina, Vinny Thompson, me, him, and my dad went to Ballina. I was going to buy a couple of bits and pieces for me dad, and I picked him up. He rang me and he said, "I go for a fucking half hour's kip." And I was like, "All right, well, I'll give him 45 minutes just to really enjoy that kip," and call down to him, then expect him to be ready, still in the dressing gown and the pajama bottoms on him. And then I said, then there was fucking old jobs to be done around the place. And then we got out at 5:10, and we get into traffic in Ballina, and he's like, "I have fucking traffic, I won't do the shopping." So I went, "Fine, we'll go to Enniscrone." "I fucking Enniscrone." He starts getting a bit of a temper tantrum going then. And I said, I'm driving the car, like, so you have two choices. You can fucking get the bus back to Swinford, or you can come to Enniscrone and enjoy the crack. And then we went to Enniscrone, we picked up fucking Vinnie Thompson, man, the V man. And we went, looked at the waves coming in, and we drove up to Eastkey. Fucking waves, man. There's nothing like the a big swell and looking at the sights down there around Eastkey. I mean, in some ways, people who live down there, they're blessed to live right on the Atlantic. Like, we don't. I don't. That's one thing I miss about living in Stockholm is the Atlantic. There's something else about the west coast of Ireland that's just fucking mythical, man. I can imagine living nearby that kind of natural beauty must be invigorating at times. And we went up and met Conway because Vinny knew him, and fuck, we had good crack. My dad was like, "Hey, you're fucking great man altogether." My dad was like, "You get a bottle of whiskey, stay the night." I was like, "Fucking stuff to be at, like." But we had good crack. It was a good night of crack, and my dad kept fucking badgering me about me driving, and I said, "I'm driving 20 fucking kilometers under the speed limit, and I'm in a Volvo, one of the safest cars in the world." And at one stage, I got so sick of the back seat driving, even though I was in the passenger seat, I pulled over on the Enniscrone to Ballina Road, and I said, "You know what, Dad? You can drive. You drive the car." And he was like, "I fucking wouldn't know how to operate the fucking thing. It's been that long." And I was like, "Well, there you go, Dad. Just, that'll do." The badgering, man. The badgering. And then today I said to him on the phone, I was like, "It was great crack, Dad, yeah, but the fucking giving out about the driving, I'm worried. I love you, son. Sorry about that." And I was like, "Sound. That'll do." So how's everyone doing? How's we have 16 people watching. Do you know, ever since I linked the YouTube channel to Odyssey, which I'm never on, it dropped in numbers on this channel, and I suppose I'm pretty sporadic about doing it. I think with Google is one of them things where the more you do it, the more, I suppose, the more. I was doing it regularly on the Friday night, and I suppose if you're expecting it, you'll tune in because you'll be like, "Maloneys Digest, fucking top job," and yeah. But I thought I'd do one tonight. Let's see what Roisin says. Sligo's good old spot was in Swagman there a few weeks ago. Swagman? I haven't been there. And Kevin E. Murphy says the Tullamore Dew adverts in the States would make you never want to touch the stuff. Tell me more, Kevin. Tell me more. Yadid, hello. How are you doing, Yadid? Are you well? Thomas Ferguson, glad to see you. Paternal backseat drivers are universal struggle. My ma's the same way. Yeah, there's a fair bit of that going on. Like, I suppose the older they get, the more nervous they get. I tell you one thing, there's some horsepower in that yoke. 355 horsepower in it. The hybrids are brilliant. Like, they're a fucking lovely job, man. Lovely job. You did. It's Jerkin himself. What a treat. Good lad. Where are you ringing in from? Yeah, the good thing is about there's a button here now. I don't know. It's rare I do this, but let me see. What does this do? Oh, green screen. Okay, now look at this lad. Do you remember this lad? Do you? Ah, fucking shit. It's the spooky Italian referee job. I didn't know I could do this. I'm in Mayo, man. Fucking on Mayo, man. On Mayo. Green screen job. Jeez, fucking camera tricks, man. Camera tricks. What else have we got here? There's not a lot, but we can go through the. No, that's it. No, that was about it. That was about it, really. But there's the dogging there. Lovely old dogging. Geez, that's handy enough. I never knew I could put backgrounds in it. And I think this was Jackie Chan and the boys back in the day. The old drunken master, hey. Paper McShane. Graham Russell. Jack Russell's snapping at the heels of a Roth Wheeler. Do you get me? I always wear a suit, Danny. I always wear a suit. Subterfuge and misdirection. Two of my oldest friends. Graham Russell, you're very welcome, mate. Great to see you. New York, New York. I was over in New York there in July. It was every time I go back, it's changed. It's funny, like when you see the Empire State Building that used to be one of the biggest structures in New York is now um, looking small. That and the Chrysler Building. It's goes to show how it's interesting. Like how high up are they gonna go? I'd like to see a fucking 700-story building, man. Yeah. Stephen Kearney, Maloney, you're a sound skin. Myself and the cousin met yourself at a Dublin gig a few years ago, and you were sound. Thanks very much for saying, Stevie. Like, thing is with us lads, we there's no airs and grace about us. I suppose growing up, if you did have notions of being an uppity prick, you wouldn't be long getting the fucking schlep, man. Do you know what I mean? And that's the nice thing about growing up in a small town. Like you'd you just it's not our style. Like Yadid says, facts ever changing, bro. Before you know it, it's gonna be in the atmosphere, taking an elevator to space type of shit. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how high up. Do you know what? When I was back in Dubai in February, myself, Stevie, and Pete went to the beach. And we had a good crack along the beach one evening, and we walked a good bit of that. Like, that was a good walk in itself, and it was the last night in Dubai, and I really wanted to go and see the Burj Khalifa because I think skyscrapers, there's something fascinating about them. The height um that people can build vertically, and being the tallest building in the world, I was like, well, I have to go down and look at that. And because I was in the mode of walking, I thought, ah, fuck it, I'll walk there. And I think it was probably about 15K from the beach to the Burj Khalifa. And I walked it. I mean, I was like, I can see it. It's in the distance. And it was interesting to walk that far, not having I felt very safe. Like there was no at no time did I ever think I was going to get jumped or robbed, which was nice. That's the good thing about Dubai. I mean, I've heard from people who've lived there for many years that it's a place where people are coming and they're coming in for a few years and they're going out, and it's quite. According to this guy, said it's fairly artificial, and you don't really get to have that many profound friendships over there. And everyone is kind of there's always like an undercurrent of being on your guard in case you've done something that you didn't even realize was a crime and you're locked up. But I liked it. I was pleasantly surprised before I went there. I was like, and then there's one street where every single food franchise in the world was on that street, and I just eaten as well. And I was like, Flying Buffalo or there's chicken wing places and a few knew existed. But I kept walking, and background image of Tony Warner says Graham Russell. Yes, he was the reserve keeper while David James was playing. And yeah, I walked there to the Burj Khalifa, and it was interesting to see it just gradually getting bigger. And I was thinking, God, I like this is quite an investment of time and energy. And you'd see skyscrapers like I mean there was buildings there that looked tiny, but they were just like apartment blocks or buildings. They're fucking building everywhere, and then you look behind you at how far you've come. And that's a little bit like life itself. If you're working towards goals, like one thing about me, I've always been a bit impatient with things, and like I always want results immediately. And I've, whether that's ADHD or what the crack is, the lack of patience. Like when I was a kid, my mum was like, I'd be like, oh, can you get me Lego? You've no patience for it. Don't have the patience for it. But looking back, I think it was just that it probably did me mum in, did the idea of it did her head in, that you'd get your Lego set, you build it, and then they break, and then it would be a nightmare trying to categorize those Lego pieces to be reassembled in the future. And that's how it was with my kids. I was like constantly picking up Lego and trying not to lose them. So I'd say that's why my mum didn't bother giving me Lego. But oh, she wasn't wrong about the lack of patience. Patrick Hilty, by how you fucking doing? Thank you very much for that very juicy super chat. You're a very fucking kind man. Ezra Lanisha wanted to get you a pint, bro. There. Hey, why don't you come down to Killarney tomorrow night to the INEC? We'll go at it awful very hard. We'll get fucking Killarney afterwards. I've never been down Killarney, man. That's where all the Yanks to go, down Killarney. Do you know what I mean? Um, Brazzers everywhere there, I hear, says Irish Newfoundland Bear. There was a couple of questionable dolls floating around, all right. Um, Valtosaurs, yes, my like for you, my friend. Thanks very much, buddy. Stephen Carney. By the way, man, I listen. Did I cut out there? Frozen. Did I cut out there? Frozen. Yeah, sorry. I got a phone call from the girlfriend there. But you will do. Fucking come down, man. Hey, Patrick, we have some crack. It'd be good old crack. Um, on mute. I get the crackers. Yeah, that was the call. Well, I'm back in the room. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So I was in this place. There was a lad, Jamie. His name was Sound Irish lad. He took us this nightclub called Rock Bottom, and there was like a couple of really cool cars down at the bottom, like Bentleys and uh, Dodge Challengers and some other fancy cars. And then there was, I tell you, these kebabs that were going for about £6. These chicken kebabs, they were unreal, man. So we had one of them. Went up to this nightclub. There was a weird old vibe there. There was the sound bouncer, African lad. I was chatting to him. He was sound, but it's kind of like there was tables of English hard men with tattoos, and they'd buy like a bucket of drink, and there was like kind of a little kind of looked more like a kind of a water exhibit more so than a than a swimming pool, and there was just a lot of Asian women who looked like they were maybe women of the night. Um, so we went there anyway. It was average enough crack, and it was only after I got back to Sweden months later I was reading about this lad, Scottish guy who had brushed past a local fella, and your man said he groped him. And then he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, you mad bastard? I wouldn't fucking grope you, pal." And then he said, then the story grew legs, and he went to the police. He got this lad arrested for saying that he was touching his ass and balls or something. But this dude got fucking 6 weeks in jail for this. And that's the one thing I didn't like about it. It'd say like if there was any kind of negative interactions with the locals, you wouldn't have a leg to stand on, and not exactly like that. I mean, it's not fair. Do you know what I mean? That's that's one element that I kind of felt a bit wary of, was the fact that um, as a tourist, you didn't have a, if someone accused you of something. I heard about some fella who got locked up. A granddad got locked up for a year, I think, because himself and the kids had rented a house and there was neighbours next door partying, and he went and knocked on the door and asked politely if they could turn it down because there was kids asleep, and they phoned the police and done him for trespassing. So mad fucking shit, man. Stephen Carney, what you make of the Volvo? Are you not into the cars, Maloney? I still remember the white Skyline. The Volvos, man, I'd say that Volvo has about as much power as the Skyline had. Now, granted, it's that Volvo would be 27 years old now and technology's changed, but it's a fucking lovely yoke. It's it's unreal, man. Touchy feely, said the Lord sees. Touchy feely, old boy. Um, the Lord sees, man, love him a handful of these nads, I. um, yeah, but it was a mad old spot. A handful of nads. Could have the old satchel. This message was held for review. What was the message? Stroking the Willie John. I'll show that, man. Show that message there. Um, yeah, we're in Bali then as well for 24 hours. It was good crack, but it was weird to go from somewhere where there's just G wagons, Lamborghinis, and Ferraris and all this mad shit to people going around on the back of mopeds as taxis. And there was myself, Steve, and Pete. We missed the flight and went to this hotel near Denpasar Airport. And we were just taking a walk into town. Everything was closed. There's street dogs all over the place, and just random lads in damp sheds coming out of the shadows, being like, "Boom, boom, boom, boom. We want boom, boom. Very nice, very nice. Boom, boom. Viagra, cocaine, weed." I'm like, nah, you're right, mate. It was a strange setup. The old money purse, the leather chamois. Scott Keaton, you got old, man. I suppose I did too, but it is what it is. Hardy Books for life. I did get old, man. Sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, where's the fucking hunk gone to? The beefcake, man. I don't know. Yeah. What can you fucking do, man? You know, it's yeah, I'm 42. Like I'm old. Like if my child self could see me now, they'd be like, "Oh, you're a fucking old man." But the grey in the hair, man. Receding hairline job. I tell you one thing, I'd go to fucking Turkey and doctor that. Come back looking like fucking Fabio Stinson. What can you do, man? It's I tell you one thing, I've had a full life of crack. Um yeah, the Alan. If you think the Clark podcast was good crack, wait and see this one with Dave Cuddy. I went down there. I didn't really know much about him, and was talking to my mate Gavigan, and he was like, "Our fucking Dave Cuddy's fucking sound, man, yeah." And so I was like, "Yeah, I follow him there and check the messages." And he sent me a message in 2023 about coming on the podcast. So I seen that and I said, "Oh, I'll jump on while I'm back." And yeah, it was it's great old crack. I was very impressed with the setup, like a proper podcast studio, fucking Joe Rogan job. Um, but when I was coming back, Google Maps is fucking useless, man. I mean, so Apple Maps took me there one way, and then Google Maps took me across, like literally across a mountain bike trail, and it was very windy, and like the wind and rain was lashing and was coming in sideways, but there was fog, and I could barely see like 9 feet in front of the car, and I was like, how the fuck is it windy and rainy and foggy at the same time? I couldn't get my head around how this was possible until yesterday. I looked at the route that I took, and it took me across Sleeve Bloom mountain range. So I was there driving across a mountain, driving through the clouds basically. So that was the fucking crack there, man. But I enjoyed the. It's nice. I enjoy driving. Like, you know, it's nice to put some tunes on and listen to some shite and just go for a spin. Maybe someone here is doing that now. Who fucking knows, man? Scotty Keating knows the crack. Owen McHugh, Gorilla Bell Kettle Podcast. The Gorilla Bell, I know, Joe, you got the Gorilla Bell. Yeah, the Gorilla Bell. It's I have oh, dude, the Gorilla. The Gorilla's amazing. I really need to get another Hardy Books podcast going again. I said last time, and I fucking left the laptop back in Sweden. That was a stupid move because I came over here. Then I was like, right, I've got no computer to cut this podcast. So the shit that I said, I did one a month ago, didn't release that. Did another one 2 weeks ago, didn't release that. So I mean, I know what am I supposed to do? Upload them, but they're out of date. Like one of them was talking about the whole Charlie Kirk thing when it came out, and I think there's a couple of fucking things since that I'm like, maybe the boys who did it are fucking dodgy boys. Who knows, man? But I'm not gonna fucking depress you talking about that. Bobby Vlogs, how you doing? Hi from Philippines. How are you getting on? Do you know stateside, man? He was over there in Cebu recently, living the dream. He was. How's life in the Philippines? It must be getting bright over there now. It's a place I haven't been to, but wouldn't mind going. Be a bit of crack. Go over there now and enjoy the beach. Bit of food, bit of sun, couple of bottles. Take it nice and easy. Johnny Dogs, how are you, Mikey and Hawk? Mikey and Hawk. Barbie Vlogs, have you been there in the Philippines before? No, but there's a lad I know called Stateside, and he's been over there a few times. He's been to Manila and Cebu, but it'd be nice to head off there. But I've no immediate plans to go. Like, have you been to Ireland at all? You'd like Ireland, good old crack. Fluffy Nature. Oh, look what it is. It's the lady friend herself. Lovely Bella. Said hi. How are you getting on, Bella? Bella was out doing a bit of stand up comedy in Stockholm tonight. Stockholm stand up comedy scene, man. It that would be like it's like trying to operate a submarine in the middle of the Sahara Desert. Useless. Um, Bo Bandy 55 heard he was there with Brian Kennedy. Fucking honeymoon sweet job. Going at it like the Hammers of Minneapolis. It was shit, says Bella. Yeah, I can imagine, love. I'm looking forward to hearing all about it, though. You better fucking believe that. And I'll be seeing you here in Ireland on Sunday. Kevin Ian Murphy, have you seen the protest against the migrant hotels out in the old country? Oh, fucking spicy. That's a hot tamale. Yeah, I seen that. I mean, look, here's the thing. Like, nobody fucking asked for it to these centers, right? And this is me being objective. I'm looking at this, and I was thinking about it today, and nobody asked for it. No one's asked about that shit. It's a. I mean, what it is effectively, it's white collar human trafficking to enrich the coffers of greedy businessmen, and it's gonna cause ructions, man. You know, and like I've always tried. I always maintain a neutral as look. If you can be trying to move emotion from things and be as objective as possible, um, and asks who benefits. You know, but what was I drinking there, Bella? Oh, I was drinking a nice hot one, and I might go and fucking make another one later on if you get me drift. But it's sometimes it feels like Ireland. There's things, you know. There's this whole left versus right thing, and they're all arguing over certain issues, and I don't know. I mean, so the protests. I don't know. And I haven't really been following it, but the guards were down there, and what was what was the objective there? Was the gang of lads who were protesting? Were they trying to get into the place to smash the place up? I don't know. Like, obviously the guards are there to stop violence from occurring, I suppose. But at the same time, like that shit that was going on down in Rossport back in 2007 or 2008, when with all the Shell oil, like the fucking guards were there to beat the fuck out of the people who were protesting. Like that whole thing, when you think about that Corrib gas line, Statoil and Shell came in there and just whipped out 500 billion euro worth of natural resources from Ireland. And the mad thing is, because Statoil went in with the exploration rights for that, the the Norwegians, the citizenry of Norway, get a slice of that. Meanwhile, at the same time, Ireland was going through a recession where we owed fucking billions to German banks. And you think, like, if there was any right fucking leadership in this country, they'd be like, no, whoa, fucking stall up there, boys. We might need that money, and we could put that towards roads and healthcare and education and housing and instead, like when you think about your taxes, like it's in many ways like look, if tax in principle, if it goes towards collectivizing your income tax and putting it to things that you can see making a positive change, like if our nations were run by people who actually gave a fuck about the people who lived in the countries, we could have a there'd be no need to work 5 days a week, for example. And the fact that they're fucking stripping billions off us and then taxing us and VAT. Like I was invoicing for 2 gigs I did in Sweden, and automatically 25% of what you quote goes on VAT, and then you're taxed on top of that. Then so like out of like let's say just you invoice €1,000, right? Um, 250 of that is gone in VAT, and then you have another 30%, 35%. No, I'd say you're taxed at about 60% tax on if you're invoicing. It's like where the fuck's that going? I see I see Zelensky was over there in Sweden recently, and he was talking. Yeah, Sweden has given us the Griffin jets, the best in the world. I was like, oh great, yeah, that's my tax money going to contribute to a fucking war that's killing people. The mad thing is, another thing that occurred to me is all the billions, the hundreds of billions that has been pumped into that country to sustain that conflict. Nobody thought, you know what, let's put like 500,000 or let's say 5 million in finding the world's best negotiators and go in there and make a deal where everyone comes away sorted out. But there's no, as Dave Mustaine from Megadeth says, peace sells, who's buying? You know what I mean? It's all like, I can't imagine, because I'm a fucking normal fella from Liverpool and Ireland and Sweden. I can't imagine. I can't imagine a scenario where I would be sleeping well at night on top of fucking millions, if not billions, knowing that that money has come from people who have been killed in war. Like if you're Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Remington, any of these companies that make weapons, and it's like how the fact that people can detach themselves from, it's just bottom line, we'll just make money, or like if you think of the likes of fucking Bezos or Bill Gates or one of these lads, you know these mega yachts these lads live on. Somewhere along the line, that's taking money out of our pockets. It's not like, oh, he did good business. That's just strictly a service that people wanted, and it made money. Some of it did, obviously, but um, you can bet that them sucking up all that money so they can live in houses the size of fucking 10 football fields and private jets. Somewhere along the line, that's come out of our fucking collective pockets at some stage. I shall address some of your comments now, lovely chat. Um, Mr. Soprano, hello, sir. First time voting today as a young person, and I had to spoil my ballot. The government has enough cheek for another ass. It's a very good point. And fucking this, one of my patients down a fucking nub. I didn't vote. I don't know if I'm registered to vote, and I was gonna go in and vote, and I thought, I'll vote for Catherine Connolly. She's like it'd be like, well, I looked at, and I'll be perfectly honest, I don't really know much about it, to be honest with you. A lot of people said they wanted to spoil the vote. Like I said, I don't feel qualified enough to weigh in on this subject because I don't really know. But I saw Petey and Cassidy, French Toast, sent me a video there recently, about a day, I think it was yesterday, where she was talking about like the EU, the Lisbon Treaty, the Nice Treaty, And she seemed to be. This was on Vincent Brown maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, and she seemed to be talking sense about in that regard. Like so, she seems to be better than that Humphreys one. Um, but I don't know, to be honest with you, Frank. Stephen was class on Midwest Wednesday. Who was Stephen Kelly was on Midwest Radio, was he? Tell me more, Frank. Tell me more. MILKRV40. We did it, gang. We caught the predator. Jimmy B. Fucking hell, bro. At least sit up. Do you know what, Jimmy B? You're fucking 100% right there. Can't. Fuck. How's that? Can you hear me? Bastards. He's a moderator. Phil's night. It's back. Sorry, I was just talking about. Fuck, that's a shame. I accidentally hit the mute button. Thanks for that chat. I don't know how long I was chatting shite, but basically, the moral of the story was Bob Geldof, stuck in a small town in this film about Bob, and the premise of the film was he did a gig, got stuck somewhere in the Pennines, and ended up at a lookalike competition. What are the odds? In order for him to make the money to get a taxi out of there or some fucking bollocks like this, he pretends to be Bob Geldof. And what does he sing? Tell me what I've done my Mondays. And I watched that and I was like, fucking no way, man. That is fucking shite, man. But he got paid. And it was on RTE, the late late movie at the time. You're a man. We can hear you. Good stuff. He said funk a lot. Roshin, oh no, I can't hear him. Had rewound back. Fuck's sake. Back now, good stuff. We're back. Hey, there's fair play to you. You're active enough in the old chat now. Mr. Soprano, Cowboy for President, Common Sense, and Creamy fucking Pints. We'll be down Clarny way tomorrow night if you want to buzz down. Phil last night. Anyway, was watching reels of you last night on some Irish Instagram page shared with my buddies. We miss you guys. Cheers from Weston, New York. Thanks very much, Phil. Western New York, would that be like West Nyack kind of way, is it? WB 1990. He's a prick. Who Geldof. Do you remember he was like, look, the whole Brexit thing, man? I again didn't know what the fuck. Uh, I, I was like, it's basically like Aliens versus Predator. I'd probably go with the Predator. He'd be a bit more fucking reasonable, like. Um, but one thing about the whole Brexit thing, it was the Remain side, which just very twatty, and Geldof showed his colours when he was there. Look at these fucking guys! And there was a bunch of like fishermen who would come up going, "Why, aye, man, there's no bloody fish. The bloody European Union keeps taking all our fish, like." And he was like, "Look at these fucking guys!" And that's where I first heard the expression "champagne socialist." Now, to be fair, it's a fucking shitty old decision, really. It's like, do you want to get your orders from the English establishment or the establishment in Brussels? Both of them are fucking shitehawks, like. And that's my fucking humble opinion on it. um, Roisin says, I saw an ad for a film Owen Colgan's going to be in, set in Tyrone, I think. Was it Finding Elvis or something? Was his name Elvis in it? I can't remember. He did that a couple of years ago. Canadian border. So you're up around Niagara Falls or Buffalo kind of way, is it? Would mind going Buffalo way, man. Check out those old chicken wings. I've a penchant for the wings, man. You know what I mean? I quite like the fucking thingy tangy wings. JRLO, I agree. Fair enough, yeah. Tyler Durden, how are you fucking Tyler, man? How are you getting on since fucking Fight Club? Because of you, my bosses let my name, my Irish Ruby, mighty crack at the brewery. Really, where's the brewery you're in? My fucking stall down, name an old bottle after me. Do an awful lot of drinking, lovely pints. So yesterday when I was in the pub with my dad, I was like, look, we have to fucking go soon. I will fucking stay here, son. And I was like, well, it's easy for you to say, but I have things to do tomorrow. Like, I have a busy fucking day. And you know what your fucking problem is, son? You just don't know how to enjoy yourself. And I was like, I don't know about that, Dad. Pretty fucking good at enjoying myself. Have indeed enjoyed myself more than the average man. But we went home anyway. Rooney or Henry? As in Wayne Rooney or Thierry Henry? That's good. That's a good fucking question, actually. That's a good question. Well, fuck Thierry Henry because his handball that time in 2009 knocked Ireland out of the World Cup, and France were nearly going to be knocked out. And he handballed and he got away with it, and Ireland didn't get into the World Cup. And I don't know what the fucking crack is with Ireland. I think is it too late? Rory, thanks very much, buddy. How are you fucking Rory, man? JRLO, good show up in the Spirit Store in Dundalk a few years ago with the books lad. Ah, yeah, that was fucking great crack, man. Jake from the Spirit Store, man, he was well impressed. That was good crack. I'm gonna have to. I really want, like, if I miss doing the Hardy Books shows because they were good crack. But also I started doing gigs myself before that whole fucking pandemic, and I want to get back to doing gigs as well myself and just really cut loose and enjoy the crack. Wiggles, I liked and subbed. Thank you very much, Wiggles. Fair play to you. And there's plenty of humorous content in the archives. Rory says traditional Irish nationalist side is anti-EU, Irish sovereignty, neither London nor Brussels. Well, you know what? That was the consent. I mean, I think that was quite a broadly held sentiment in Ireland. Like in, I mean, you'd see in Dublin a lot of the times. Anytime there'd be like the Lisbon Treaty or the Nice Treaty, most people were anti EU. It was all the fucking Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil heads who were all for the EU because they knew where the fucking money was coming from. Like it's money. If you're in the game and you're in the fucking parties, you get the touch from the table. But I'd be there's elements of capitalism that I like, free market capitalism, fair enough. There's elements of socialism that I like too. And like for me, I think I can't see why my whole ethos would be a rising tide lifts all boats. That's my that's the way I look at it, and that's the way I would like it to be, where you know you have a well educated citizenry. There's plenty for everyone. You have all the vital infrastructure, roads, railway, your healthcare, your culture, and to take fucking pride in your own land, and to keep it well. If you think about it, your nation is an extension of your home, and you can either live like, even if you don't have much, you can still take pride in, like, I drive a fucking 23-year-old Volvo, and I hadn't washed it for about a year, and it looked like shit, but about a week ago, I decided, fuck it, I'll give it a good clean at the self service, and cleaned it out. And afterwards, I was like, it's an old car, but it looks a lot better than it did. And it taught me, like, you can have pride in what little you have. And the same thing goes with your house and your home. Like, if you can make, like, your home is supposed to be a place where you come home and you enjoy comfort, and the same, and security, and the same thing should go for your country. And when you're giving over the power of your country to people who don't serve the interests of their constituents, then I think it's every country's right to fuck them off out. Like, if they're not doing a good job, and they're not producing the goods, and they're voted in, and I think there should be fucking regular referendums going, do you know what? Out to fuck. Instead of this old crack of, like, I suppose we wait to the next election then. And they'll just get the opposite party in, and the same fucking revolving door of wankers keeps continuing on. Mr. Soprano, Prime Rooney unmatched. Was this the Everton era, or when he went to United? I mean, he was great. Like, to be fair to him, looks a bit like Peter the French Toast Kesty. Tyler Durden, would you ever do a collab with Sergeant Ducky? I don't know who that is. I don't know who he is. Hey, Derek Kennedy, how's Big Mick keeping these days? Oh no, Big Mick. Now he's coming up to. He's having a retirement do now next week in Swinford now, just outside Swinford. He's having a retirement do, and I'm due to go up and do a few tunes, and hopefully the rest of the Hardy Bucks will turn up for that. But that's a big one now for him, and he's a great man now, and that man is as fit as a trout. Funny enough, myself, my dad always calls me Eugene, Eugene Martin, because myself and Eugene are very similar in appearances. There was a picture of Eugene when Mayo lost to Cork in 1989, and obviously he was fucking steamed on the way back. Now he was just awful disappointed, and I was like, "Is that me?" And he had the old tash as well, but he's very very similar to myself. Sice. Have you ever been to Limerick? My family lives there, and the countryside is great. I actually have my grandmother Julia, Julia Murphy. She came from West Limerick, so I'm actually a quarter Limerick. So three quarters Mayo, one quarter Limerick. So I have been to Limerick a good few times, but the last time I was down around Glynn, Castlemahon. I think it's like on the Kerry border along the Shannon. Last time I was down there visiting the old second cousins was about, fuck me, 26 years ago now. Um, YouTube commenter, who is the worst person to be in control of a country, Micheál Martin or Keir Starmer? Do you know what? I'd say Keir Starmer. It's funny, there was a thing up on Twitter today that Keir Starmer, he fucking came out and said it, and there's people saying it for years. But obviously, you try and say it to most people, they're knee jerk. Basically, let's say the mass immigration into Europe, which is a very and I don't know why this is so controversial. Anyone brings it up, you're automatically labelled as a far right racist, which is fucking ridiculous. Um, it's just it's like I said, it goes back to the concept of your house. Um, let's say you had an apartment on O'Connell Street in the middle of Dublin, right? and there was plenty of food, and there was beer, and there was beds, and there was a TV and a sound system. And if you just said, right, fucking everyone's welcome, how's that gonna fucking pan out after about 5 days? TV's gone. There'd be people shooting up. There'd be fights. God knows what else happened. Your gaff would be gone. You'd be fucking robbed, or beaten up, and that's the same. The same goes for, like basically, um, a country with no borders is a country for any. A country without borders is a country for nobody. Like that's the way it is. It's like I like the idea of countries like there's always going to be organic immigration, and that's fair enough. But it's like it takes away the individuality, and I think the likes of the fucking World Economic Forum and all these guys that they take it like it's been a generational decay of first of all they take away your faith, your religion. It's like, oh yeah, that's bad, yeah, that's backwards, or that's fucking uncool, or and then so then you've no kind of moral framework then, and which leads to excess consumption, materialistic decadence and materialism, and then you're kind of you're left spiritually rudderless. You're just fucking your job is to consume whatever corporations are selling. That's usually made in Far East Asia for fucking pennies. So they're getting ripped off with slave labor, and the consumers in the Western world they're losing jobs because their stuff is so they're paying their job is to consume, and then like the whole open borders thing. It's Hegelian dialect. It's bringing a load of people and put them up at the expense of the taxpayer, enrich the coffers of the fucking guys who own these centers and these hotels at the taxpayers' expense. And these poor fuckers who were living in these places, there's no incentive to get them out of there or to move them on or integrate them. The longer they're there, the better it is for the bit for business. Um, and I look like I'm all for people who are genuinely seeking asylum and they need to or even for people who are like, right, I have a certain skill set here. Um, let's let's go somewhere and offer my services, make a living for myself. And I always naively thought when I was younger that, and I've said this many times, that the job or it would be incumbent upon us who live in the first world to bring up the standard of living and self sufficiency of poorer developing nations. But it's not. It's about bringing it all down to a two-tiered society. Um, I'll check out these messages before I go on, so I'm not too behind. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Ken Murphy, mustache man, turned into a nationalism into a bad word. Um, Wiggles, they should leave us be. The whole country would be like the Willie Clancy Festival eventually. But you know what? That's it. Like, just fucking leave us be. That's it. Like, that is um the cornerstone of this. Let us fucking be and keep the government small and like Sweden's fucking like Sweden didn't lock down over the lockdown. They already had digital ID. It's called Bank ID. It's already in place. So they're like, fuck it, we don't need that. Um, Sweden is now reaping the chaos. Sweden is the canary in the coal mine. It's the petri dish where they try all this shit out, and it's a fucking nanny state, man. You can't go and buy a bottle of wine from an off license. You can't do that. You have to go to a special government-run monopoly. That's closed at 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, closed Sunday. The bank ID, you need that to access every website in Sweden. And like I used to think it was mad. Like you go into a phone shop and you look, all right, I'd like to get a phone subscription. They go on to the they go on to their computer. They put in your personal ID number, like your PPS number. They get all your fucking records, your address, everything up, and it's Like you can look up people in Sweden and find out their address, how much they earn, where they live, and if you pay extra, you find out who their family is, how much they earn. You get all, and that's fucking crazy, man. And a lot of people have, let's say there's a woman who's had a fucking crazy ex-husband and she's moved out with the kids and he's threatening to fucking kill her, and they move into a place. Oh, look, he just puts in the fucking person, the Pashon number, and then he finds them. It's insane. But it's a real. And the other thing I don't like about Sweden, it's all like, oh, we're very we want to stop the crime and keep the place civil. So like the police are fucking sound. We have these other guys who are like, a lot of them are paid by like private security companies, and a lot of these lads would never make it into the police, but they give them handcuffs and billy clubs, and they beat the fuck out of people. They detain people and batter them. Like I had a friend of mine from Galway who got caught smoking a joint outside Sluicing over the pandemic, and he's a sound out skin. Like he's like, what are you smoking? You know yourself, man. Yeah, just having an old fucking spliff. Like, you can't do that. I'll put it out. So cheers, lads. No, you're coming with us. Took him in, held him. He's like, look, lads, I was out in the pub. I'm busting for a piss. No, you stay there. Like I'm gonna piss myself. And he was they wouldn't let him out. And he goes, right, it's either I piss in my pants or I take the flute out and I piss here. And they started fucking choking him and pinning him to the ground. And then the police came, the actual police, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Leave the lad up. But this is the thing, they outsource violence because the government, ultimately, the government has a monopoly on violence. And like I was saying about taxation, or if you have a good argument for, I don't agree with this, leave me be. They're like, no, that's illegal. According to who? This law, this book of law. I'm like, well, I don't fucking agree with that. But yet I have to be fucking punished or held to some arbitrary rules some gobshite fucking wrote 50 years ago. It doesn't make any sense. And that's my opinion about Sweden. There's some fantastic things about Sweden, but Sweden is now paying people €34,000 to leave Sweden. And it's like, imagine, so you've come in illegally, you're in Sweden, please take 34,000. Like, that's fucking more than a month's salary to most, or more than a year's salary to most people. So what do? They fuck off. And they come back in again under another name. I mean, like, and that's the thing, like, with Keir Starmer, this is where it's all coming back to. He said today or was it yesterday or today on Twitter, digital IDs will help tackle illegal immigration. And there we go, because it was like, you've got to think, these fuckers don't care about the people, their own countrymen and women. So why the fuck would they give a shit about someone who's coming in from Afghanistan or Somalia? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not for the love of these people they do it. They're doing it because they know it's problem, reaction, solution. They created the problem, which was bring in a whole load of people, overwhelm the healthcare system, and overwhelm the housing market. Like the price of the, like, and you think about it, it's also a brilliant way of, I think that we're so indebted in the Western world, they can't get any more out of the residents of Europe and America and Canada. So they have to import more wage slaves. And you get the likes of fucking George Soros. Yes, we need it. It is good for the economy. When people like that talk about the economy, that's not the fucking money in that's not your or my economy. That's their economy. They're the ones who are cashing in on this. And so the problem was, bring people in, overwhelm the healthcare system, put these poor fuckers in the suburbs, and where they're, with the likelihood of them being employed, because places like Sweden are very parochial and it's very nepotistic, and it's very difficult to break. It's all HR and recruitment middlemen, and it's all CVs. So these lads, they're out there in the suburbs, and like Sweden did do a good job of integrating people. I have to say, like in the early days, they do Swedish for immigrants, SFE it was called. I went there, and it taught me a lot about other cultures. around the world, and I thought it was a good thing. But they took too many people in too soon, and they're bringing in people from, like, let's say, Syria, and Kurdistan and Turkey and the likes of this, and there's a place called Serda, and you have, like, many of them, they're from warring factions over in the Middle East. And some of them, they get on well when they're in Sweden, and others don't. They bring the grudges with them. But there's people fucking shooting each other. There's teenagers. So these, like, drug and crime gangs, they employ teenagers to do hits, and it's like, all right, you're 15, you're not going to get sent to jail. And I think I think, like, so they send these criminals to, like, halfway houses where there's security, and each person costs, I think it's like fucking something ridiculous, like, about, because you got to pay all the staff to look after them, and I think it's on average about €6,000 a week per person at the taxpayer's expense. And you think to yourself, what chance do these lads have? They're growing up and they're looking at old money, because there's some seriously old money in Sweden. I never seen money like it. You'll see a lot, like a fucking 22-year-old driving around in a brand new Ferrari, and these lads see this and they're like, I want a slice of that. But the only way reasonably I can fucking do that is through crime, and so, like, this is what's happened. This is the whole thing. Create the chaos. Okay, the best way of us remedying this chaos is to have biometrics and national IDs. And then you got fucking war criminal Tony Blair overseeing this. And it's like, that guy should be in fucking jail, especially for the fucking what happened with David Kelly, Dr. David Kelly, who went into Iraq, said they don't have weapons of mass destruction. David Kelly was out walking his dog and he was found hanging from a tree. And they went into Iraq, and sure enough, there was no weapons of mass destruction, but there was a completely destroyed, eviscerated nation that had a population that then ended up coming to Europe. So it's like they're making money out of causing the chaos as well, and we're paying for it. And but at the end of the day, we're all citizens of this planet. We all have a right to opinion. We all have a right to be here, and we all have a right to live a good life, and not to, it's like the rule I always live by is do no harm and take no shit. But these fuckers, they're causing all the shite. I'll go and read your messages. Would you ever do a collab with Sergeant Ducky? I was Big Mick. Let me see where we are now. They should leave us be. The whole country would be the Willie Clancy Festival eventually. Yes, that's where we came from. Connor Kelly, just tuning in. How are things? You still over in Sweden? I am, yeah. I'm just over in Ireland for a couple of weeks. The Dude 2012, Kid Starver, Keir Starmer. Stephen Leonard, how are you, Stevie? Well, Durkin, long time no see. That's fucking rage, Stevie. Pip Maple, two-tier Keir. Did you see him fucking hitting the punch bag, man? Like, what a fucking joke. Like, that's a man who's eager to fucking get lads into the army and fight Russia in a ground war. Yet, he cannot even fucking punch a punch bag. An inanimate object that's padded and can't hit him back. And that's the man who's talking hard chat. Same thing, I seen that Ben Shapiro punching a speed bag when he was in college or school. And he's like, yeah, who do you think you are? Yeah. Hits the speedball and knocks himself out. And he's the guy who wants people to go and fight Iran. This is the kind of fucking lunatics we're dealing with. Kevin Murphy, Sid Vicious type scenario, do 2012. Be like Jesse's gaff in that one episode of Breaking Bad. Yeah, it would. Phyllis Knight, fuck the World Economic Forum. What's the wee packs you're chewing on? Asks Bug Bandy 55. Snooze. Let me see what else we got. Frank Stephen's interview on migration on Midwest was class. Would recommend listen to it back online. Steve, look, the thing is, I would like to. I consider myself for me, I don't come out with. Sometimes Steve can be quite controversial, and I think he likes a bit of he doesn't shy away from controversy either. I don't go looking for controversial. For me, a stateside would say it does not inform me, man. Um, but look, I have a love of my country, and I have a love for my fellow human beings, and I say things because I feel like if I don't fucking say it, then there's no point in me looking back when we're fucking going headlong into a dystopian nightmare, going, I should have fucking said something. And I don't know if if my opinions make much of a difference, but like we're passing this world on to the next generation, and I think people of my generation in their like late 30s to mid 40s, uh, we seen what life was like pre-internet and pre 9/11, and they were two very big paradigm shifts. So we were kind of at an age where we were just coming into adulthood, but we're still relatively young in the grand scheme of things. So like your Gen X millennial kind of era, and kids who were born into it, I don't know if they I worry sometimes about what kind of world they grow up in, and it's like when I was younger, like my parents would be like, my mum would like, oh, the television's the worst thing that ever come into the house. I was like, what's your beef with TV, man? But it's only when you get older, you're like, how many of these opinions that we hold in our that we hold closely are opinions that we were programmed to think. Like you look at the how quiet towns are in Ireland nowadays. People just aren't having kids anymore, and it was kind of like we were taught that having kids was a fucking that's lame, man. If you have a child, your life is over. Your life as you knew it is over, but the life with children is a new chapter, a natural chapter. And we're told all this shit about like, oh, there we don't have enough people in Europe, and this is George Soros said like, oh, so we need immigration to Europe, but at the same time we're told that the world is overpopulated. So it's like, fuck off, bunch of wankers. Um, what's the Frank guy Stephen interview? Phil last night. Hearing you complain about this is actually super encouraging. Ireland should be for the Irish. Catholic Church is becoming booming here in the States. You guys just need guns and Jesus to sort things out. God and guns. Um, Look, I'm all for like regulated, like I said, fucking uh, sensible migration. Do you know what I mean? But it's this is fucking daft shit. Like, I mean, they can't even look after the people who live here already. Never mind people who are coming in. And I feel bad for the people who are coming in because they'll, like if someone had said to me, let's say Sweden, it was like, right, yeah, if you come to Sweden, you can get a few bob, fucking free gaff, um, 3 meals a day. Like, I'd be like, fucking hell, lads, this is class. Come over. And I'd bring a big gang of lads over. I'd form a posse. Brilliant. And of course that's going to fucking cause resentment in the host nation, and that's what they want. They want people they want people fucking tuned up, but then he'll have like controlled opposition like Tommy Robinson and that, and it's like they're always cranking up some fucking psyop. It's one rolling piss take after another. Um, but you know what? There is like imagine Ireland if everyone by law had a side had a gun, like, and obviously they were trained not to be fucking lunatics, and I mean there would be there'd be people who you really shouldn't give one to here. Like I often think, like an armed and informed, educated citizenry. No one's gonna no one's gonna fuck with you if you're invaded. But like, so if let's just say China was to go, you know what? Ireland is pretty close to the UK there. Um, it would be quite advantageous to claim that land, and they brought an aircraft carrier. and amphibious tanks, and let's say an army of 200,000 landed off the coast of Galway, they'd fucking take us over in like a day. And then the only thing you can rely on then is asymmetrical warfare, guerrilla warfare, like petrol bombs. And but even that, then it's just, then you have to like fucking, it would be guerrilla warfare. But fundamentally, the seizing of vital infrastructure and media and government buildings and distribution hubs, it'd be a fucking cakewalk. Um, so, but the thing is, with the states, there's so many fucking people on. It's so overregulated by big pharma that it's just like, yeah, give that lad medication, give him lithium, give him Prozac, and it's fucking up people's, like, and the thing is with the states, there's parts of the states that are like on third world levels of poverty, and and if you have people who, there are people out there who are dangerous because of impulsivity combined with lack of long-term consequential thinking. So if you give people like that guns, they will go around and fucking shoot someone. So I mean, like, not having guns, I kind of like an idea where I like the idea of you can go out and some fucking header isn't going to pull a gun out, you know. Whereas when I was in the States a couple of years ago, I was in like outside San Diego, and I was thinking, it was only the next day I was like, wow, I'm in a country where someone can just turn up with a fucking gun, and there's not much you can do about it. Tower of Babel much, says Rory. Mrs. Soprano, have you had any podcasts with Stephen? Be good to hear you on longer form. I was lucky enough to do a show with Cowboy and Frenchie a few years back, and the two of them are fucking dwarfed me. Great lads. I think the boys are trying to get a podcast called No Books Given, and that's going to be down in Galway. So they've invested heavily in a state of the art studio. So that's to be expected soon. Chris O'Driscoll. All right, Martin. Do you ever miss Liverpool, Wirral, and do you ever spend any time in Manchester? Well, you know what? The last time I was there was in November last year, and it was the first time I was back for 10 years, and I felt very much at home there too. And I was like, why haven't I come back? Why, like, this is also part of who I am, and I neglected to go back. And I felt when we were taking the ferry back to Belfast, I felt a bit of sentimental sadness to leave the place, because it did feel like being back home as well. But it's Manchester. I've not spent much time in Manchester at all. We did a gig in Manchester as well. But I wouldn't have spent much time in Manchester, even though it's only a half-hour drive away. Ice 1211. Dr. Phil told me this channel is unreal. Had to swing by for a gander. Thanks very much, Lee. Dr. Phil, listen to the Maloneys Digest podcast will rot your brain. Wiggle says the owl lads love talking about the end of the world. Oh, that's fucked. Oh, that's fucked. Yeah, that's fucking get old bunker there. And fuck it, that's over, man. Yeah, but could you imagine? It fucking probably does. Like, imagine if you grew up like in, like the one thing they were, they were used to a lifetime of getting a fucking packet of money into the hand at the end of each week, and able to go and do a fucking nixer and buy a house for about fucking £10,000 back in the 80s. Like, you can imagine they're looking at it going, what the fuck is happening? Like young people are fucked. Like, you can imagine coming from that generation being just like, something's got to give. It's I totally get that. This is great stuff. Thanks for. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Kevin Murphy, in America, you're not officially law enforcement, and you try that on someone, there's a good chance you could get shot. Oh yeah, yeah. There's. It depends on where you are as well. Centurion, Eddie Durkin, never working. What's the crack, man? Fucking the crack is going good, man. Some fucking hot sauce being dished out here tonight. And look, I don't fucking like on like there's a lot of shit I don't know, but I'm just like it. I've always been interested in I suppose, in humanity and history and culture and whatnot. Um, and it just we're fucking we're all the technology. Like if you look at the likes of Facebook and all this kind of stuff. I remember when it came out, we walked into it fucking eyes wide shut. You know what I mean? Like, or eyes wide open, but eyes wide shut at the same time. And it'd be like fucking pictures of your kids, pictures of your pets, pictures of your family, and your opinions and what your political leaning was, and your family, your friends, what you had for dinner, where you're going, where you're on holiday. One day I was just like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, what cunts don't need to know this, And this is how it is, like, and it's like we've been conditioned to, like Ireland back in the day. Oh, don't be fucking giving them, don't be telling them that, don't be. And I was always a bit fucking. I talk without filter, like, but they'd be like, don't be fucking telling that, don't be telling that fucking stuff. He's digging out lumps of gold. Torin can't vote. What's that in relation to Torin? DJ Harmony, Eddie Durk, never working. I love my Jill. The country is absolutely fucked, and I can never hear English outside my window anymore. I'm not racist, it's just true. Do you know, that's one thing now that I have noticed talking to most people I come into contact, and these are people of all different fucking economic backgrounds, professions. Um, Most people see it, man. Like most people, are like, this is fucked. Like, you need a car in Ireland. If you don't have a car, you can't go anywhere. And like pub culture, like I was just thinking, it was like I was in Foxford there, the next town, last Sunday. I was picking up a few of the boys, and it was fucking hopping this pub down in Foxford, and I was like, I don't know anyone really in Foxford, and it's 9 kilometers away. I don't really know anyone in Culchama. It's 9 kilometers the other way. I don't know anyone in Charlestown, which is 9 kilometers east. And then I thought, like, there's not many people like in your neighboring town. You don't go there, and it's like you've no way of fucking getting back anywhere because there's no taxis, there's no buses, and if you're driving, then you can't have any pints unless you're drink driving, and that's something I don't do. And you think to yourself, if there was why isn't there a shuttle service, or like you think to yourself, like we're living on an island, which is a small island. And then you think Japan is an island, but they've got bullet trains that can go fucking 300 miles an hour. And you think to yourself, like, there's just we're just ruled by people who are just constantly on the fucking take, and they don't give a fuck, man. And it's very demoralizing. And I kind of think, is this part of the process to do things that, like, I remember when I was a kid, people saying, "Oh, if someone breaks into your house and they get injured, the burglar can sue you for falling over and tripping up in your house." And you think to yourself, is this all part of just making the average citizen feel powerless and demoralized to, just to fucking wring the hands, be like, oh, what can you do? There's income tax, there's VAT, there's tax on the alcohol, there's tax on your inheritance, there's property tax, there's water tax, there's fucking tax for everything. So if I pay my tax on my income and you do a job for me, you get taxed on that. And it's where's all this fucking tax going? And like I said earlier on, the government is taking this tax and there's no accountability. There's no audit of where their tax is going. But we'd fucking be audited. But there's no auditing the government. And I said on the David Cuddy podcast, I was like, okay, let's just take insurance, car insurance. America, health insurance is a fucking con job. But here in Ireland, the con job is car insurance. In Sweden, you insure the vehicle. The vehicle is insured. Anyone with a driving license can drive that vehicle. Here in Ireland, it's like, no, young fellas are too fucking daft, man. We'll have to charge them €2,500 a year. They need to drive if they're living in the countryside because they've no fucking way of getting around and they're young. And Imagine you had a politician who said, you know what, I'm going to take on the insurance companies now. I think this is fucking unacceptable. Like car rentals are fucking rip off. Most of the money goes in if you want to be fully comp, double the price. It was €1,000 to hire a Ford car for 2 weeks. It's fucking it's just crazy like. And but imagine you had a politician now who would say, right, we're gonna have to do something about these insurance companies because they're fucking it's too much. So you imagine Allianz. If you look at Allianz, their main shareholders are BlackRock and Vanguard, right? And so you think to yourself, right, they've probably got shares in the media. So they're like, right, this lad's fucking, he's hitting the bottom line and he's killing the golden goose here. So let's dig up a bit of shite on him, use the boys in the media to do a hit piece on him. Then the fucking idiots who would believe that without thinking would go, oh, did you see the fucking news about your man? Fucking 15 years ago, he was off. It was seen he was doing fucking coke off some stripper's arse out in fucking Dubrovnik or whatever the fuck. And then they were like, oh, your man's a bad bastard. This guy who was trying to help them, they now go against him. And it's like, and then he's out. And the insurance companies keep fleecing the people. And that's the thing. It's there was this video today I seen. It was Hank Hill. What's that you're listening to, Bobby? And I can't remember what it was who did it, but it goes like this. He goes, "If I have a gun, if you have a gun in your hand and I have a gun in my hand, we will we will talk or we will discuss the law. If you have a knife in your hand and I have a knife in my hand, we will discuss the rules. If you have nothing in your hand, I have nothing in my hand, we will discuss reason. If you have a gun in your hand and I have a knife in my hand, we will discuss the truth. If you have a gun in your hand and I have nothing in my hand, my life is in your hands." And that's how it is. If you have the guns and you have the power and you have the money, whatever the fuck you say, that might is right. And that's it. That's the arbitrary rule. And that's how all of our Western governments are beholden to faceless, monolithic corporate entities that have fucking infiltrated every single aspect of our lives. And they keep fucking sucking it all up. It's a zero-sum game. And you think to yourself, what the fuck, what do they want with it, man? You know, it's like when you get to that level of wealth, it's no fucking, money doesn't matter. It's like if you're playing Gran Turismo and it's a fucking weird one, like, but it's like in Gran Turismo 2, if you won the TVR Tuscan Speed 12 for doing a very handy race, you got 500,000. So you just keep doing that. Next thing you're loaded. And then after a while, you could buy any car you want. And you don't really have the appreciation for it. And that's that. So what else do they do? They're like they can buy anything they want. Then it's like, all right, the only way is to fucking get a kick out of like defiling innocence or causing shite or causing wars. I don't know. Like it's it's like in the Bible, and Jesus said, "There's more chance of a camel passing through the eye of a needle than there is a rich man entering the gates of heaven." And it's not like a rich man. You think of some lad who owns a fucking pub and an auctioneering place in town, or your local solicitor. You're like, that lad's fucking, he's doing well, man. He's driving an old fucking Bentley Continental. Like in comparison to the wealth that's in the world, these lads aren't rich. You know, like the fucking Rothschilds or the Rockefellers or the Wallenberries in Sweden. Like these lads, they'd have, or who else? Like I don't fucking J.P. Morgan, and there's people out there we probably don't even know exist, and they're probably in the trillions with the money they have. Sick and tired of working, says Wiggles. Yeah, the thing is, like, why do you think Eddie Durkin never working? It's like, fuck this shit, like, you know. But you have to do it. But like, when you think about it, this is how Rome fucking crumbled, because people like, they weren't setting a good, like, there was no positive example being led, and after a while, it's like, why the fuck should I work my bollocks off and get taxed? And then the whole society fucking crumbles then. Torin, you already have Muslim courts in your country. Probably fucking do, man. Look, at the end of the day, if like some of these lads, they have devout faith in their version of God or their God, and they're not gonna fucking listen to some pencil pusher. The God's word to them is final, and like, why the fuck would they go? Oh shit, man, fuck, that's illegal according to some boys in the Dáil or the House of Commons. Of course they're gonna fucking do that because they answer to in their belief. They answer to Allah, who is they believe that is the way it is. So I can't blame them for not thinking that way because they're looking at it as they believe in the ultimate authority is God, and I'm sure Christianity was like that back in the day as well, and um, it doesn't come as a surprise to hear that. Like, it's like they can go in and do a stretch in jail, and that will be seen as a heroic gesture if they've done something illegal. Um, Man, if only the Castletown days were back on Ireland when Ireland was normal. Yeah, well, fucking, it'll be back. Uh, for last night, 100% lock Blair up, absolutely, literally over a million. Centurion, would you ever be in Liverpool, man? I wouldn't mind going back. I might try and do a tour of the UK, comedy tour, next year. Just do a fucking right job of it. Kevin E. Murphy, Ben, die for Israel, Shapiro. Really? Really? Geez, I'm a good bit behind on these comments. Hardy Bucks, why did you start call it Castletown rather than Swinford? Well, we thought of it'd be good to have like a fictional town, a generic name, and Swinford is in between Castlebar and Charlestown, and Charlestown or Castletown. There's a good few of them around Ireland, so that's that. Brian M. Fellas night, I've got a son, 18 months old, another son on the way. Congratulations. The burden of children is the biggest lie of all. If I can give you guys any advice, have kids, have more than you can afford. Do you know what? You're 100%. I often think I would have liked to have more kids. Still fucking time yet. Um, but they're fucking brilliant, man. Like, they're hard work when they're babies. But you see, the thing is, traditionally, um, women would stay at home with the kids and they would be hanging out with each other during the day. The kids would all grow up together. There'd be kids playing out. They grow up. Like, you know what? Today, an old school friend of mine, a plumber, Simon, he turned up to my sister's house, and I haven't fucking spoken to the lad in, I'd say, at least 10 years. Last time I had a conversation with him, and it's mad. Like, it's the great thing about this town is their extended family, and I kind of, I haven't seen him in years, but it was nice that I was like, oh, Simon, how are you getting on? And it was like, it's like a cousin or something walked in, and you've grown up since you were kids, and I think I think the fucking best thing with a lot to do, and this is me talking as a 42-year-old man who's lived in Sweden, lived in the States, lived in the UK, traveled the world. I reckon get yourself a place in a nice town and have a rake of kids and encourage your friends to do the same thing. And look, it's easy making them, but it's hard rearing them. But once your kids are past a certain age, then every every child is an arrow in your quiver. And when I was down at my dad's house cleaning up with me sister and my mum, and I thought to myself, look at this now, like this is us giving, like, my dad's getting on, and here we are helping him out. And you think there's a lot of people who missed the boat because they were told the career would come first, and or they were never satisfied with someone better was going to come along, someone better would come along, and I think like it's fucking it'd be a lonely place in like later years, like um. So I think if you've got the time, look, and the thing is, how do people do it in the old days? They'd have fucking 8 or 9 kids, and they had a farm. If you see, the thing is, this is why. This is why farmers are always slagged off, and this is why Stalin and the boys seized the means of production. Because if you have a farm and you have a good relationship with your farming neighbors, eggs, milk, honey, vegetables, meat. If you eat and you keep yourself warm with wood and you're self sustainable, you don't fucking need anything else, man. Like the true value is the land. Land has value, and the crops you raise have values. Everything else is a fucking illusion. Like if you've got timber and you have all the resources and you have like water and then you go out, and you have solar panels, you don't fucking need anything really. Like you've got fuel to like the thing is we're living in Sweden. A lot of people they're sitting in apartments all day. They'll let's say you buy your takeaway food. Like in order, if like in the old days, making a dinner would take hours. You pull the spuds up, you do your harvest, you put it together, and it took a long time to heat the house. You'd have to chop wood, put a fire on, but you'd appreciate what you had. But nowadays, people have too much fucking time, so like we sit in front of screens all day, and then we're wondering why we're so fucking unfulfilled or bored or unsatisfied. Yeah, we have money coming in, and most people are doing fucking jobs that are no one asked for, or you're doing a job some motherfucker doesn't want to do, and a lot of them jobs are going to be obsolete. And so I think like there's a kind of weird. We see we all bought in like with all this like aspirational movie bollocks. Like we need the big house, we need the fucking car and the clothes and all that shit. If you get yourself some land and like there's I don't know, there's like this we're all kind of bred with this idea of we have to be fucking special. We have to do something, we have to leave this legacy behind us. And then people get depressed then when it doesn't work out. Whereas I admire people who are happy with their lot. They're but I mean going back to it, it's like move rural, get a load of kids, have neighbors who you can trust and rely on in a tight squeeze, and they have a load of kids, and build your communities. I think that's the way to do it. But this fucking city life of paying fucking shitloads for a mortgage or rent just to have a fucking place to throw. Like people are working to live in a house instead of having a house and then going to work. It's pointless. Like the amount of people are paying in rent, and at the end of the month when the rent's paid and the bills are paid and they have maybe a couple of fucking £100, and they might save up and have a holiday a year, and it's like that's not fucking living or thriving. That's existing. So I think the rural life gets mocked because it's seen by the cosmopolitan class as being uncultured. But man, like you think to yourself, do you want to live in an apartment building in the middle of the city, or do you want to have a couple of acres of land and a fucking scrambler, and you can roam your own land and or fish your own river. Like that's you have to ask yourself that. And I think maybe there's a time for it in life when you're young. Like the thing is when you get older, the rural option is a good option. When you're young, you're going to be bored shitless around a small town. I think cities are a good place for young people, but once you get past a certain age, you kind of feel like, right, I've done all that. Like I've sown the wild oats, and I think it's time to sit back and slow things down, as Liam Gallagher would say. Gotta slow it right down. Let me see. I'm gonna go back to your comments, and then I'm gonna fucking hit the dusty trail soon enough. Um, Kevin Murphy, don't have kids because it's not good for the environment, but we all have a population decline, so we're sending billion Indians to move into your hometown. See, it's all about fucking having people so mixed up that look, the cunts who are running the place, all they care about is bring in money in, have your labor, but do away with homogeneity. Like if you have a whole nation that thinks the same way, that's a nation who can't be trifled with. If you have a nation that's fucking divided, um, with different opinions, then how the fuck are you gonna get them? Divide and rule, man. Like, and this is why people get very upset, and they're like, "That's racist," or "That's xenophobic," or this, that, and the other. And it's like, but you don't get it, man. Like a lot of these, they're well-intended people, but they're actually supporting the policies that are fucking that are helping to erase them. If you know what I mean. It's very fucking theorist chat. I love my Jill. Do you ever get the skyline back? What happened to your baby at the end of series three with Nori? The skyline, that's gone. I don't know what that is in real life. He didn't get that back, and I like to think that Eddie. I think Eddie had kids, and I think if we go back to do a series five, I think it'll be. I was thinking about he did have the child, but he was too fucking daft to live there, and he was like, "I'm not going putting the fucking baby out on TV." And then I think it'd be good fun to show, because look, the characters are in their forties now, so I think it'd be funny to have the characters doing shit that lads our age would be doing. Like you still do daft shit into your forties, like. Wiggle says, I have my Hurley, proper job. Kevin Murphy, the Irish have a history of guerrilla warfare going back thousands and thousands of years, to be fair. Yes, they do. From Cromwell all the way up to, and Henry VIII, the fat cunt, um, to the Irish Revolution days, and then the Civil War and that, and then the IRA and whatnot. Brian M. In Hardy Books, where did you find the man who sang the song King of the Town? That's Paddy Joe Tighe. It was Pete's family, French Joe's family, who know him. He'd be a bit of a wanderer, like going round from town to town, singing and supping pints and wandering here and there, wandering towns. So that's who he is. He's a good old skin. Um, Wiggles, everyone should have a shillelagh, the shtick like. Outlaw Barber, fucking hell, man, I haven't seen you in a long time, man. How are you getting on? Um, Hello from Oklahoma. Happy you're doing well, Martin. Moving to Panama. Oh, you're some fucking boy, man. You're some boy. You will have to come down and visit Panama. Do, Panama. Hey, I was gonna say, the cunts shut down. I was looking to see if I had any Monero left in the on Trade Ogre. And I found out that the Canadian government just fucking seized all the crypto that was on there. So I was like, I must have had about a fucking grand's worth there at least gone. Nothing I can do about it. As Axl Rose would say, you can't trust freedom when it's not in your hand. When everybody's fighting for the promised land. Kevin Murphy, Tom Cruise job. Wiggles, hello Oklahoma. Aaron McCarran, what's the crack, Martin? Would you ever get up to Derry, or have you ever been in the past? I've never been to Derry, and I'd love to come up to Derry. I'd like to. Hopefully, one day soon, I will do. Omar, there is very much auditing of the government. Whereabouts in Ireland, like, um, Wiggles, getting the ride tax is coming. Fucking oxygen tax is coming. Wiggles, he's exactly right about insurance. JRLO, pulling the stomach tax next. Oh, Wiggles, he said Black Rock. Kevin Murphy, I moved to Florida in the States. Fucking not bad, man. There was a county sheriff going on live TV saying, we prefer if you shoot home intruders to save the taxpayer some money. God bless America. Brian M., do you ever consider asking Steve Coogan to play Mick's brother in Hardy Books? Do you know what? I know for fucking fact he knows who we are, like, and his parents actually come from Partry in Mayo. I'd love to meet Steve Coogan, and I'd love to work with him as well. Um, oh, see the game last night? Which one? Don't know. Let me see. Aaron McCarran, speak softly but carry a big stick. Oh ho ho. Let me see. Let me see. Missy, how you doing? Very nice grooming of the face and head. Thanks very much, Missy. Um, the They bring joy and wisdom, whether you're ready or not. Is that kids? Is it Graham Russell? Britain's hardest is on later. Phil Mitchell job. About 9 o'clock. Shane Kerwin. Martin, how are you? Good. Thanks, mate. Hope you're good too. Wiggles, joy equals ready or not, here I come. Yeah, absolutely. It takes a while. It takes a while to get used to it, like, because you're looking after yourself, and your partner, like, and next thing you're like, fuck me, I've got to buy this now. I've got to get this, and how, sleepless nights and that. But when they're babies, they're cute. They're awful cute, like, and then toddlers, they're very cute, and the shite that they watch, like, and the things that they're lovely, like, at all stages. Um, and a lot of when the older kids get bigger, they help out, and then the younger kids learn off the older siblings, and as well they come along quicker. Um, it's a fucking blessing, man. It's the best thing you can ever do, and we've been kind of conditioned to think that it's like, when you think about it, what are you missing out on, really? Like, piss ups. You can get babysitters for that crack, like, and you'll still live your life, but you have responsibility. Like, when you think of the likes of Robert Plant and John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, like, they had kids when they were 20 and they went on tour. No, I don't know how that worked out, but yeah, like, people used to have kids at like late teens, early 20s. That was normal. Like, they were considered men at like 22. I mean, obviously you're a man now, but like the responsibility, there's a lot of arrested development in the last couple of generations, and I fucking speak for myself there too. Hey, we might go to Eastbourne. Says PHS 44. Wiggles 9 o'clock, kids. Chris O'Driscoll. In an ideal world, what country would you move yourself and the kids to? Do you know what? I'm happy enough in Ireland, man. Like, I live in Sweden, but I really love Ireland. It's Ireland was always, like, we were. I was born and reared until the first 12 years in the UK, and like, I really love Merseyside as well. It's a great spot, but Ireland was always the ancestral home. You know what I mean? It was like, it always, and I kind of feel a bit bad for, let's say, people in the States or Australia who, they might be like some Czech, French, it's like, I'm a quarter Irish. I'm like 2/3 or 2/8 German. And you think, like, they're from a mix of all these different places. And at least when you're kind of, when you're from a country, you know that this is your country. And I suppose the Americans, it's like, yeah, they come from these places in terms of Europe or Africa, or Asia, South America, but I guess their home is the States, Um, but Ireland's, like, if Ireland could sort out the fucking admin side of things, it'd be brilliant. It'd be great. But also, some of the fucking fact that it is a bit fucking, like, chaotic adds to the charm of it as well. Like, Martin needs a hug and a sandwich. Cheers, Missy. Wiggles, he needs the 15-second hug. The 15-second hug can get awkward. It's the only way. Try it out with a friend. Missy, my friends are all very far away, so I hug them telepathically. Brian M., where did you find the girl who played Noreen's snarky friend? She was hilarious. Oh, that's Sheila Moyla. She's an actress from Island 80 in Westport. She's very talented. She's a good lass. Her brother's actually a very talented boxer as well. Brian M., that was that. I Love My Jill says, the one that used to eat the sleep out of rice in school. Fikra, how's the fucking Fikeen doing? Come down Clare anyway, Fikeen. Where in the world are you now, man? Down Mayo, hey. I was tempted to drive into Mullingar on Wednesday night, but it was a bit fucking late, Fikeen. Missy, when Hardy Bucks go to Hollywood, I'll be your snarky friend. Good job. Chris Nolan, would you ever dress up as BJ Penn's ma so he could accuse you of murdering her? Because he could accuse you of murdering her. Fucking hell, that's a hell of a question, Christine. Backer than that. Your retirement, Martin, says Aaron McCon. Thanks very much, buddy. Kevin Clatt Productions, love Hardy Bucks, man. Cheers, Kevin Clatt. I love my Jill. Eddie, I love you, man. Sure, I've known you all my days. Never know, says Missy. Hardy Bucks drive across America. I would watch you. That'd be fucking great crack, man. Even if we just did like a documentary where we went, right, we'll go and see a few sites and just do a road trip of the States. It'd be great content. Imagine just dropping into a roadside smokehouse down Texas. You boys aren't from around here. I'm like, no, we're not. How about that fucking brisket horse? Gives an old fucking touch of that and a bit of homemade bourbon. Good lad. Huey G. Whoa, Huey G. Things are what they used to be. Do yous up an old Hardy Bucks podcast? Nothing since September. We're missing it. Yeah, I might do some old shite now with Owen and the boys next week for the crack. Yup, says Oisin Murphy. Chris O'Driscoll, latest stateside correspondence. Haven't seen him in a long time, but I did find the content on the phone that we did about 7 years ago. That's some fucking crack, boy. Some fucking crack. Come down Ballymahan for some scoops. Where's Ballymahan, Oisin? There's a message here. Feking held for review. I'm gigging this weekend, I'm afraid, sir. No bother, man. No bother. Stateside saying he'd raped Tortoff was class. Oh man, some boy. But please go back and watch the Stateside Part 1 and 2. It's some of my finest work. I love the way, well, yeah, I'm going over to Sweden for 2 weeks, Morton. And as he was over, I just went to the Reading Festival in the middle of it. He's funny, man. Like when he's staying at Pete Silver's gaff, and he's looking at I mean, what do you think of Scrubs, Tom? And he's like, I'm no Superman. That's the only part I like about Scrubs. The rest, it's fucking shite, man. Scrubs is a pile of fucking rubbish. It doesn't do anything for me, man. You know, like South Park, they have all bad language in that, like, but fucking Scrubs. Let me see. Do you sometimes watch Viper streams? I don't. Never watch them, to be honest with you. I don't even know if he's streaming or not. Get Pez to film me from a scooter outside the van, says Missy. Oisin Murphy, it's in Longford, Sham, up Ballymahan, up Raiden. Vikram Milner, Rosie and Jan for PG tips. We'll fucking see how we get on there, man. I see there's no WhatsApp group for the boys. It could well do. Could fucking well do. Send me what date? I'll look at the dates as well. Chris Nolan, your poor BJ has the old Capgrass delusions. Oh yeah, fuck. Is that the CGT what they have, like the brain injury stuff? I heard he's a bit worse for the poor old bastard. Daniel Smith, hello from the States. Where you know, Danny, by 9th and 10th. I know, Fikra, that'll just be a fucking monumental piss up in some random small town in Roscommon. Could be good old crack. Depends if there's a good crew. I mean, I know well it would be good crack. How would the body and brain be after that one? Oh ho ho. Buffalo, New York. Were you ever in the Banshee? It'd be good to visit the Banshee bar there. I met the owner of that when I was in Bartley's in Manhattan back in June, I think. Yeah. But listen, I'm all caught up on Dowell questions. But thanks very much to everyone who's been watching this. Been great old crack. I enjoyed this stream very much, and thanks to Rory and Patrick for the old super chats. And if CT, that's the one, Christine, yeah. And if anyone is well, enjoy your weekend first of all, and thanks for watching. And if you have any mates who would enjoy this as well, tell them about it. Like, don't fucking tell too many people. Do you know what I mean? I don't want fucking riffraff and fucking head the balls in. But if you have any mates who you think would enjoy watching this, recommend it. Like, and if you haven't already subscribed, do subscribe. And I'm going to try and keep this on the regular with doing streams. And like I say, I might do one during the week, but I fucking might well do. Might do one with the boys down in Kerry tomorrow as well. Just a brief one. I've not been to Killarney before, but I heard it's fucking that about Ushbat. But I will love you and leave you, and take care and have a great weekend. And it's been a pleasure chatting to you. Good luck now.